Hi guys, welcome. Today we are going to can up some crushed tomatoes. Super easy recipe, won't take very long, and it'll give us tomatoes that we can use any way we want. Chili, spaghetti, whatever. Add it to taco meat. Delicious. I'd like to welcome you to my backyard Kentucky homestead. My name is Kim, and let's get started. So I'm going to be using a recipe from the Ball Complete Book of Home Preservation. I am choosing to pressure can this because I'm using a variety of yellow and red tomatoes. Yellow tomatoes do have a little bit less acid in them than red tomatoes, so I want to make sure it's absolutely safe. But if you just have red tomatoes, this is something you could totally do water bath canning, and it is in this book. So just follow the recipe for that, and then we'll get going. So let's just very quickly go over what we will need. I'm going to be doing a variety of sizes. I'm going to be doing some half pint and pint jars. These would be really good for, like, again, taco meat, things where you want to just add a little bit of tomato to the recipe. Whenever you are using multiple size jars, you're always going to use the timing on the larger jars just for safety. We're also going to be adding some lemon juice. You do not want to use fresh squeezed lemon juice because you cannot verify the acidity level, but this real lemon concentrate is verified for acidity level, so we're going to always want to use this. So something that is, manufactured specifically for cooking and canning. Don't use fresh lemons. So we have some salt. We're using the pink Himalayan. You can use any type of salt as long as it's not iodized. I also have the Presto digital pressure canner, which allows me to pressure can or water bath can. Absolutely love this. We have a funnel to fill the jars, tongs to pull the jars in and out of the water. A debubbler also allows us to measure our headspace. For this one, we're going to want a generous 1 inch, which is this one. So when we put this on the jar, we'll put that in there. And what we want is the contents to come to just to the bottom of that one when it's connected like that. Okay. We also have clean lids. I have 4 jars and some ball lids here. I have already washed the tomatoes. I do have a variety of tomatoes. I have smaller ones, which I will not core. I've just removed the stems on those. I do have some larger ones that need to be used. We'll be coring those and removing any bad spots. So I'm going to go ahead and get these cored. And I have water on the stove coming up to a boil so that we can blanch these, and then the skins will come right off. And for this, I would highly recommend using a serrated knife. It makes it a much easier job to do. So our water is boiling, and what I'm going to do is just go ahead and pop these into the pan for about 30 to 60 seconds. We'll be doing small batches at a time. And then I do have the sink full of cold water. And we will dump these into those as soon as they come out of this water bath. And I am doing, just for ease, my own personal preference is doing all of the same size tomatoes at once. So we'll do the medium to large tomatoes, and then we'll come back with the very small ones. It's right off. The color of the skin changes. It becomes a little bit duller. So we'll go ahead and grab these out. And then dump them into the cold water. We'll let this come back up to a boil, and then we'll put the small ones in. Okay, so we're back up to a boil. Now I'm not dumping these directly into the pot because it will cause a huge backsplash and they get burnt that way. So we'll put about half of them in. I'll try to take the stems off. I've missed a couple. So I did have to put this one yellow tomato back in because the skin just did not want to come off. So I just dunked it again. But it's real simple. Usually it will peel right off. So it's just a little obstinate. I am saving the skins because I'm going to pop them in the freeze dryer and make a potato powder or tomato to make a tomato powder that I can use to thicken sauce. And with these little ones, usually they literally just squeeze right out. Just break the tip a little bit and usually just pops out. So just go ahead and get these done. Remove any of the stems that I might have missed. And then we'll just get these processed. And I don't worry about coring these because there's pretty much no core to worry about. But these larger aromas, I will go ahead and slice the top off. So I was already cutting these up and realized the camera wasn't on, so I'm going to start over a little bit. So what we need to do now is to cut up and then mash about 2 cups of tomatoes. And then we're going to put them in a pot on medium-high heat. Let them come to a boil, and then we're going to work in batches and just keep we're just going to continue through the tomatoes until we have them all in the pot. Once all of them are in there, then we want to bring it to a boil and boil for about 5 minutes. The tomatoes do have a very low boiling point, so you want to watch it, stir it to make sure that they don't burn. And they will start splattering everywhere, because that's how they roll. Okay. So we're just going to mash this up. And then dump it into the pot. Now for the rest of them, for the rest of the tomatoes, we don't have to mash them anymore. We just chop them up into small pieces, and then they will cook down. So we're going to bring this up to a boil, and then we're going to boil it for 5 minutes. So while those tomatoes are boiling for the 5 minutes, we're going to go ahead and get our jars heated. As I said, I'm using the Presto digital pressure canner. Absolutely love this, highly recommend it. We're going to use the pressure canning feature, and we're going to go for 15 minutes. Tell it to go, it tells me to insert the jars. So I was absolutely terrified to pressure can before, but the pressure canner made it so simple. So we're going to start with 5 pints and 3 half pints, and then we're going to add hot water. So I'm going to put water in each of the jars, as well as around the base. Now there is a line somewhere. Somewhere in there. There it is. So there, you do need several inches of water at the bottom of this. For pressure canning, we do not want to cover the jars, and you don't even want to go over shoulder height, but you do need to have at least this much water at this line here in the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and add water to that point. Okay, just a little bit more. And then once these are heated, I take them out. I will just pour the water in the jars into the sink. So put the cover on, close it up, hit the button, and it will start warming the jars up. So looking at what we have in here, I'm probably not going to get a whole lot, but we'll see what we have. Use our tongs to pull out our jars. So I'm going to work with a couple of jars at a time. For the pint jars, I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. For the half pints, I'm going to do a half. I'm going to put a half a teaspoon of salt into the pint jars. And then about a half of that for the half pints. And then we will put the tomatoes in, leaving a generous 1-inch headspace. Okay, and then we are going to wipe the rings off, or we're going to wipe the rims off to make sure there's no tomato juice. Because sugar, anything that has sugar or fat will be more likely to cause the seal to fail. Okay, I'm going to put our clean lids on here. Now, as long as you're pressure canning or boil bath canning for at least 10 minutes, you no longer have to sterilize your jars. But if you're doing 5 minutes, say for jelly, you will want to sterilize your jars first. And then we're going to put these on fingertip tight, which is a little tighter than you would think. At least what I thought the first time. I had stuff all over the inside of the canner. So you're going to come to where it's tense and then just a little bit more. You don't want to wrench it though. And if it doesn't seem to thread right the first time, go ahead, take it off, and do it again. Okay, so we'll get these into the canner. So if it had 1 or 2 more tomatoes, we would have had enough. What we'll do with this one though is just put it in the fridge and use it for dinner tonight. Just go ahead and put a lid on it anyway. Pop it into the refrigerator once it's cooled down. Actually, let's double check these first. Yep, we actually may not have any left. Yep, so barely a spoonful. Alright, so just wipe these off again. I'm a little short on water. I've got 1 less jar going back in, so I'm just a little short on water. should do it. Let's distribute these a little bit better. Okay, should do it. So we will put the lid on and lock it. And we will tell it to start. So now it is heating up to boiling point. It will vent for 10 minutes, and then we will put the pressure regulator on the top here. We don't want to put this on until after it tells us to do so. So we'll be back in a few minutes. We have started venting about 2 minutes ago, so we have 8 minutes left, and then we'll put the regulator on. Okay, so we have the note to put the pressure regulator on, and it beeps until you do that. So we will carefully push this on, and then we will hit the go button again. And now it will come up to pressure. The little post here will pop up so that we're not able to open this, and it will just continue to do its thing. It will cool off, and when it's done, we can pull the jars out. So it monitors everything as far as the pressure, the temperature, the timing. It does everything from this point forward. So we'll bring you back here when we're ready to pull the jars out. So we have finished. We are undone now. So we're going to go ahead and turn the knob, turn this. Carefully take this off. Always move it towards you so that any steam is pushed away from you. Otherwise you could get burnt. And we'll use our tongs to pick these up. We do not want to tip them. We want to leave them as flat as possible. That's even more tempting with water bath canning because there's water on top. But if you tip them to the side, it could cause siphoning, which could prevent it from sealing. Not bad. Looks like they've all sealed. That one hasn't sealed yet. The others are sealed. So we don't want to do anything. It could still seal, but this one probably at this point won't. This has been done for just a little bit. But it looks, you can tell the center of it, when it's not sealed, goes up. And when it is sealed, the suction pulls it down. So it's flat, if not a little bit caved in. So these have sealed, this one hasn't. But we will wait a full 12 hours at least, up to 24 hours, to let them fully cool down, because that could still seal. And then we will get the rings off, get them in storage, and we'll be done. So really excited about getting this on the shelves. I'm going to be doing some green tomato chow chow, which is a relish that is absolutely perfect on bean soups. If you've not tried that, check out that video coming very soon. And until next time, have a great day. Bye.